From Amateur Radio Newsline Report number 1970, these are the Ham Nation headlines for Wednesday, August 5th, 2015. In amateur radio, interference has a price, and in the case of repeat offender Michael Guernsey, KZ80 of Michigan, it's a hefty one, $22,000. Skeeter Nash, N5ASH.
Guernsey, who has a publicly documented history of offenses and violations dating back for more than 10 years, had first been given an FCC warning a year ago that he faced a fine of this magnitude. In July 2014, the agency issued a notice of apparent liability proposing the fine in light of Guernsey's long and contentious history, which at one point also included a 9-month license suspension. At the time of the notice, Guernsey denied he had created the interference, suggesting that another nearby radio amateur was the source. The FCC, however, said it had positively ruled that possibility out after monitoring his station. Last week's forfeiture order recapped Guernsey's violations, citing, quote, the deliberate playing of music on top of the transmissions of other amateur operators, end quote, adding that he employed, quote, various animal noises to prevent the communications of other stations with whom he had a long-standing and well-documented dispute.
Guernsey has the customary 30 days to pay in full or arrange for an installment plan. Good news for United States amateurs with a Vanity call.
The regulatory fee to apply for a Vanity call sign becomes history September 3rd. The FCC had announced last May it planned to retire the fee to reduce related administrative costs, but didn't say at the time when the fee would disappear. The agency now says that beginning September 3rd, amateurs filing a Vanity application will no longer have to pay. The FCC said the revenue it would otherwise collect from this and other regulatory fees will be proportionally assessed on other wireless fee categories. The Vanity call sign's present fee of $21.40 had been increased by the FCC from $16.10 in 2014, making it the largest hike in years.
In Pima County, Arizona, first responders have adopted a reliable backup when their emergency communications network fails. Not surprisingly, it's ham radio.
This week, I spoke with Mike Boger, K7BUM, the assistant manager for the home stations for the Pima County Office of Emergency Management Communications Group.
Pima County and Pima County Office of Emergency Management and the Arizona Department of Emergency Management have traditionally had a very close relationship with the amateur operators, races, ARIES, those kind of things. The amateurs take care of the local events. El Tour de Tucson is one of our biggest events, has one of the largest bike races around a city, 109 miles around the entire city of Tucson, and we provide communications for that event.
Now, for Pima County, what kind of gearing up in terms of the hardware and the staffing are you likely to need?
We'd like to get more involvement, more people putting up the 20, 30 feet foot masts, those kind of things.
And what does Pima County's embrace of this plan, their openness to making it a part of the overall MCOM infrastructure, what does that say about the future of where ham radio is going, do you think?
I think it puts a very bright picture on mesh and amateur radio. Our lessons learned can be of value to other communities across Arizona and the United States.
There's lots more to the report, and you can hear it all in the full edition of this week's Amateur Radio Newsline Report. And finally this week, Skeeter Nash has more on what amounts to amateur radio dual citizenship.
British amateurs are getting the opportunity next month to take the American license exam being offered at Lyne Village Hall in Surrey, England. ARRL volunteer examiners will offer the test on August 27th, charging the customary fee of $15, which comes out to be approximately £1 sterling in the UK. Advocates in Britain are encouraging amateurs to go for it, since an American license would enable them to get on the air in the United States should they find themselves visiting and with access to radio equipment. The exam is being made possible through a reciprocal license offer between the U.S. and Britain's Office of Communications.
And that's all from the Amateur Radio Newsline, your independent source for amateur radio news for over 37 years and counting at www.arnewsline.org. With Skeeter Nash, N5ASH, Mike Boger, K7BUM, and Karen Eve Murray, KD2GUT at the news desk in New York, I'm Don Wilbanks, AE5DW 73. We'll see you next time here on Ham Nation.